Well, I would say this: we have had amazing growth out of Exit 5. Okay, we're going to be seeing growth on Martintown Road Exit 1. I'm on the Planning Commission. We already have had folks coming wanting to put residential out there, apartments. So Exit 1 is going to happen too. Okay, and we have had the development on the river. I would challenge you to say that what we have not revitalized is our downtown. Do we have some restaurants today that we don't? Well, basically because we had one developer, Chris Garrison, who bought the old Ming Yat Chinese restaurant, and out of that we now have 3 or 4 restaurants. But the redevelopment of our downtown is the key to our future. Okay, people are wanting a connection from the river to that downtown, and we need to have that gateway corridor that we connect there. So one of the things on my platform that I am a proponent for is connecting the Greenway into our downtown. Okay, if you've been to communities like Travelers Rest, the Swamp Rabbit Trail in Greenville, okay, that's what Travelers Rest. If you go through there, like going to Furman, that thoroughfare is a lot bigger than Georgia Avenue. But they had to, they realized, let's take that Swamp Rabbit Trail connection, bring that in the back of those buildings, and now they have a downtown that have breweries and bike shops and on Saturdays and Sundays. We own 90% of the alley system. So if you go down Georgia Avenue, we own 90% of the alley system on West and East Avenue. And right now we're using it pretty much for garbage truck, okay, maybe a little travel. So let's connect the Greenway. We have 20, 30,000 people a month are using that Greenway system. Let's use that Greenway and bring it into the back ways of our downtown and help revitalize it, okay? Give people a reason. On Martin Luther King Monday, I walked the river, and I talked to, there were about 50 people out there. All of them except 2 folks were, everybody else was not from North Augusta. I met a lady with 2 kids who drove 45 minutes for Waynesboro. Okay, you had 3 from Grovetown. There's nothing in Grovetown. People walk in. You had Augusta, had a grandmother come over from National Hills with her grandkids. And I asked them 2 questions. Why are you over here? Oh, we love the Greenway. Oh, we don't have this. We love it. I said, let me ask you this. I said, I'm running for mayor. If we could connect this Greenway into our downtown so while you're walking, you could now ride or walk into our downtown, get your child an ice cream at the Snow Cap, or if we could help revitalize, have a restaurant or brewery, something, would you find that positive? Every single one. Absolutely, that's awesome, that's great. Okay, so if we have got to take one of our great, see, the city, one of our best assets is the Greenway. Okay, it's a jewel. But it's always been a recreational focus. So let's take that recreational focus, because we already have the traffic, okay, and let's turn it into an economic catalyst. Let's bring the density, bring those people into our downtown, so now you've got reason for businesses wanting to, more business to open up and more activity. People want walkability and connectivity, okay? The younger you are, the more you want it, okay? We need to have a downtown that's got green spaces, park benches. I mean, Greenville, for example, okay? All the great towns in South Carolina you visit, they have an active downtown. And that's a prioritization. We got to have a leader that wants to make it a priority, because right now we haven't prioritized it. Yes, some things have happened, which are great, but we're not even that far. I mean, that's how much we have compared to where we could be, okay? Another area that we need to look at is the city had the foresight back in the 70s to build industrial park, Revco Industrial Park. And I'm pretty sure it's just about filled up. And the last business that opened up recently is Ambio Farms, okay? So I think one of the conversations we need to have is let's look at what land's available to expand that industrial park. Okay, again, we need to be thinking about that for economic development. But I'm a big believer in grassroots economic development. Okay, I'm a big proponent of the Main Street program, which we are one of 2 cities in South Carolina in 2018 that got certified. And I believe in grassroots economic development, and that's where you start revitalizing streets and sections. And what happens over time is you get amazing development.
So you brought up the industrial park. Uh, is there a particular industry that you would like to see in that park or in the area? I mean, is there a particular job growth
Great.
category that you would like
I
to look
would
at?
say cyber would be huge. I don't know that cyber would want to be in the industrial park, but what I'm saying is, our city administrator Jim Clifford, who was the garrison commander at Fort Gordon, I know is as he should be, is a big believer in cyber. We all are. Okay, so we need to figure out how do we get part of that cyber business. Okay,
Do you feel
because
like
those are long-term investments.
Do you feel like North Augusta can compete with Augusta for that with the cyber headquarters downtown?
Great question. I don't know if we need to compete with the extent of those two cyber buildings, but you got to remember, with cyber comes businesses that have the ancillary business that come in. So yes, I think we have the ability to have a footprint in cyber. What that looks like, I can't tell you that.
Because one of the challenges, even Augusta can't compete with those two buildings as far as
Yeah.
space offerings and such.
Well, yeah.
One of the problems in North Augusta right now is that there's just no vacant office space. There's very little to no empty office buildings. Could you see the city somehow building something for private, or is
I think that was a conversation originally with Riverside Village. I believe initially there was a goal of having some land available for that.
But it's hard for
But I don't know.
It's hard for private companies to build buildings for cyber because cyber defense contractors typically are going to have short-term leases because they're defense contractors, and financing is almost impossible for those buildings, which is why the state built the ones down here.
Right.
But could you see the state of South Carolina or North Augusta in some way building something similar to that?
Yes, in some form or fashion. I don't know what that would look like, but the city wants to get a piece of cyber. That makes sense. Okay.
Other than these statewide incentives, what can North Augusta offer somebody that's bringing a company into town, with employees and
Well,
such?
I mean, I think it's quality of life. Okay. You've got a strong public school system, that you have a community that supports that education. You have got recreational space, like I said, the Greenway. We have 20 parks in North Augusta. Okay, we've got some of the number of people that from Augusta that come over to bring their kids to play recreational sports in Augusta, North Augusta, is pretty large. So we've got facilities that are phenomenal. I tell you, our public safety I put up in front of anybody. I had a great meeting with Deke Copenhaver recently, and Deke made just a great point about that. People have got to realize that your public safety is as much as in the tourism economic development as anything. Okay, and the reality is people feel safe in North Augusta. Okay. So I think that is, so yes, quality of life, but we are missing a component of people wanting to come to North Augusta as a destination. That's the point, that's the key to downtown. Okay, that's where we can play off Augusta and vice versa. If we revitalize our downtown, it's a win-win for all of us. Cyber's been a win for us because people coming over the SRP Park. SRP Park has been a win for us. So I'm a big believer of, yes, we have a river, but that river doesn't need to divide us. We need to get past that mentality. We really do. Because what's good for downtown North Augusta is going to be good for Augusta and vice versa. And I think having that relationship and working toward that is a win-win. That's what I'm about.